Hi guys, I'm Asher. Today's video will be about a conversation between Alfia and Zald, during their last days alive, and before carrying out their last mission. Also, I want to know what you think about these two characters and the tragic end they chose. Do you think it was necessary for them to become villains, or do you think they made a mistake? Let me know your opinions in the comments. To complete the video, I will relate a funny short story about Lefia and Tione. By the way, as a precaution, I have created a secondary channel, so please subscribe to that channel as well. Also, if you like my videos and want to help the channel, you can do it on Patreon or by becoming a member here on YouTube. The links will be in the description. But well, without anything else to say, let's get started. Hey, Zald, I'm hungry. Make something for me. As usual, Alfia was acting like she was a queen. They were living together in a small cabin, located far away from other people in a rugged mountainous region. Or, it was more accurate to say that Zald was taking care of her. Inside the cabin, the gray-haired witch sat listening to the crackling sound of the fire in front of her. When Zald returned to the hut, he let out a sigh of exhaustion and began to prepare some fish to cook. What would you have done if I wasn't around? I would have had a quick death. That's all there is to it. Although they were separated over twice in age, their relationship could easily be mistaken for that of a couple. They were not friends, they were not even members of the same familia. If one had to describe their relationship, one would most likely say it was like that of an uncle and his niece. They were not related by blood, but their familias had a long relationship with each other, so they knew each other very well. Their relationship became an inseparable bond. If only the witch's age was a bit younger, and she asked for something like, "Uncle Zald, I'm hungry." Then he would not mind doing stuff for her like this all the time. But, just imagining Alfia as a Lolita, made Zald's head hurt. So, on the second thought, she's fine as she is now. Ironic though, isn't it? Two half-dead people living our last days together. After Zald's sarcastic comment, he looked back at the girl sitting silently in front of the fire, with her back facing towards him. She was still quite young, but Zald thought she looked like an old woman. The reason Zald was looking after Alfia was because she was like a niece to him, and that he couldn't help but lend a helping hand too. Although they were both reaching the end of their days, Zald decided that the least he could do was to work together to slow down the clock to their deaths. That was all there was to it. That was the destiny of Alfia and Zald, the survivors of their destroyed familias. What about the valley? Several of the small ones got through the barrier, however, we have no choice but to let them go. If the big one made it out, then there's nothing the lower world can do. That was a conversation that only they understood. That was a duty that only they could fulfill. These were not the words of an adoptive mother caring for her little sister's only child, nor the words of an old woman living what she had left. These were the words of the parental guardians, who decided to try to slow the clock ticking towards their deaths. I can imagine, but the time of our deaths is near. We can no longer pretend to be guardians. Once we finish helping the school district with the barrier strengthening, that they're desperately trying to prepare, I wonder what we will do. Maybe we will die somewhere without anyone knowing, or maybe we could try to make a name for ourselves before the end. As he spoke, Zald arranged the small plates of food. While he was carrying the stool, Alfia said, "We would probably just fall miserably." As she stood up, when she was sluggishly walking toward the food, her closed eyes shifted to the door. Zald looked as well. Before the uninvited guest opened the door, he called out to them, as if he was shrugging his shoulders as he spoke. He narrowed his eyes with a childlike expression and said, "Then, why don't you let me help you go out in one last blaze?" The person that spoke was a man. He was a god. The icy wind of snow blew, as the male god opened the door. His black hair, darker than the underworld itself, waved in the wind. He narrowed his eyes with a boyish expression, and he did not attempt to hide his godly presence, which was not inferior to Zeus, as he appeared in front of the victors, who were now known as heroes. So, if you are going to die anyway, why not become a stepping stone for the world? With the last remaining fragments of their lives, they agreed the gods' unjust plan to become an ultimate evil. That was the beginning. Tione, do you know how to get rid of people who always get in the way? Huh? What's this out of the blue? That's disturbing. Loki Familia's campsite on the 18th floor. It was late at night on the day Belle, Hestia and the others showed up. After the talk with Hermes was over, Tione and Alfia were returning to their tents. While Alfia was enshrouded with an eerie, miasma-like aura, Tione only shrugged her shoulders. Actually, there is some insolent person who always clings to my special someone, and I was wondering how I could get rid of him, forever. What, are you jealous? Alfia, you should be a bit more tolerant. If there was such a person around the captain, what would you do, Tione? Kill. I would kill. With that, every light disappeared from Tione's eyes. I would rip to shreds any bitch in heat that came near the captain. Immediate obliteration. They would only sully the captain. Yes, I would never allow that. But, my special someone might get sad when that particular person gets hurt. She's very kind, and I don't want to see her sad. Damn. What a pain. What a bunch of sluts taking advantage of the captain's kindness. How sly. The girls, each immersed in her own world, continued to wrestle with their imaginary enemies. An assassination? A surprise attack? No, that's not good. Once the captain hears about the incident, he'll immediately have a hunch. And if we threaten them to never go near the captain again, there's no guarantee they'll keep quiet about it. If any kind of warning doesn't work, then we need to force them to back off of their own free will. Or even better, curse them with misfortune, so that something bad could happen to them at any time. Yes, that's it. We can curse them. If it's a curse, it can't be traced. This reminds me. Riveria once told me about a magic ritual that uses rabbits as ingredients. Alfia, if you succeed to make such a magical charm, please lend it to me, okay? This will keep the bitches from approaching the captain. Hee hee hee. Please, Gareth, go stop that. I won't. You're the boss, you're supposed to deal with it. As he watched the Amazoness and the elf lose their last bit of sanity during this conversation, Finn began begging for help. The dwarf, whose strength was second to none, only shook his head with his eyes half closed, making it clear that he would never go near the scene taking place over there. The Palom captain, who was rubbing his abdomen with one hand, would never be released from his constant state of worry. And well, that was all for today. I hope you liked the video. If you liked it, please leave a thumbs up, share the video and leave your opinion in the comments. I will be reading your opinions. Also join Discord, there we can talk about DanMachi and even other animes. The link is in the video description. Best regards and see you next time.